Hey kids, Flex and Teacher Weber here. This is part 2 of the Pythagorean Theorem instructional videos. Now in the first 3 examples we did, the hypotenuse was missing in all of the right triangles. This one's going to be a little bit different, and I hope you can see why. Let's take a look at number 4. We're given a right triangle. This side's the variables we use are E, F, and D. Now remember, this is the right angle. The sides beside the right angle are the legs. So E is a leg, F is a leg, and since D is the opposite to the right angle, D is actually the hypotenuse of this right triangle. So if I was to write out the Pythagorean theorem for this question, I would be writing something like this. I would be writing E squared plus F squared equals D squared. Because it's always the squares of the legs added up equals the squares of the hypotenuse. So if I was to write this out, I would have 6 squared. I know E is 6. F I don't know, so plus F squared equals 7 squared. Okay, now following order of operations, 6 squared is 36, plus F squared equals 49. Now, we want to know the value of F. So I need to make positive 36 go away. Well, how do you do that? You subtract it away, minus 36. And think back to our math equation unit. If I subtract 36 there, I have to subtract 36 there, on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, this goes away, and I'm left with a positive F squared, or just F squared. And 49 minus 13, minus 36 is equal to 13. And now I almost have the value of F. I'm left with F squared equals 13. Square root that side to get F, and square root the other side, because you have to do the same thing to both sides. Alright, so the square root of F squared is F, and 13 is not a perfect square, so I should actually be careful here. It's not a big deal, but I should actually, since we're going to be not getting an exact square root for F, I should use the approximate symbol, and we want to do the square root of 13. Well, we know how to estimate square roots. The perfect square below 13 is 9, above 13 is 16, so the square root of 13 has to be between 3 and 4, probably a little bit closer to 4, like 3.6 or 3 6/10. And when I do that on my calculator, I do get an answer of 3 6/10, or 3.6055, so I'll round that off to 3 6/10 centimeters. And that's how you get the missing leg of a right triangle. You have to solve the math equation like we already know how to do. Let's do one more of these guys. I'm going to flip forward. Okay, look at this. The triangle's a different orientation now. But that doesn't change what you look for. So again, first of all, make sure it's a right triangle, because the Pythagorean theorem only applies to right triangles. Here's your right angle. Okay, the side opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse in this question is 8 centimeters. That means this side's a leg and this side's a leg. So if I was to write the Pythagorean theorem for this question, it would be x squared is one leg plus y squared equals z squared. Substitute in my values. X is 3, so 3 squared plus y squared equals z is 8, so 8 squared. Continue solving the math equation. 3 squared is 9. Plus y squared. 8 squared is 64. We want to solve our math equation. Right here, we have a plus 9. we want to get the y squared by itself. So we'll subtract 9. And since we do it to that side of the equal sign, we have to do it to this side. 9 minus 9 goes away, and I'm left with a plus y squared or just y squared equals 55. Now we want to know the value of y, so the way we do that is we take the square root of y squared and we take the square root of 55. So the square root of y squared is y. Oh, I don't want red there. I'm going to do that in blue. Hopefully that'll work. There we go. And 55, we know how to estimate square roots. The square root, perfect square below 55 is 49. Square root of 49 is 7. So this is going to be like 7 4/10 probably. But let's check it out with our calculator here. So I'm going to put in 55 and I'm going to find the square root, and I get 7.416. So I'll say, when I forgot to do that again, since it's an estimate of a square root, I'm going to say approximately 7.4, and this is supposed to be centimeters. Okay, so when you do your assignment today, the first 4 questions are going to be questions where the hypotenuse is missing. And in the last set of questions, the last 4 are going to be where the leg is missing. So make sure you use the right approach for each one. Check back on these videos if you need to. And make sure you show all of your work just like I've shown in the videos, where you start with your equation and do one step at a time going down the page. Hopefully this helps. Give it a shot. Flexing Teacher Weber out.